for Kids is a movement inspired by my first book, No More Traumedy. This book is for children to teach them how to face their feelings, acknowledge them, and share them. Not only share them, but overcome stress, anxiety, and depression. Now, save this date right here, Sunday, September 22nd. I am having a health and wellness expo in Rahway, New Jersey. It's going to be amazing. First of all, if you have a child that's going from the 6th grade to 7th grade, they're welcome. Actually, all students are welcome. And the purpose of this event is to teach adults, children, everyone that it's very important to cater to your health and your wellness. Now, let me tell you how this is going down, okay? First of all, there's going to be food trucks. I don't know about you, but I love to eat. There's going to be various food trucks. It's at the Rahway Rec Center, so there's going to be plenty of space. Now, we also have vendors. If you are a vendor and you have some type of product that can help the children, help the adults, you are welcome. We're going to have 20 vendors inside the gymnasium. The gymnasium is huge. So when you first come, you can check out the vendors. And then we're starting at 12 o'clock sharp. But like I said, the doors open at 11:30. And we're going to have a specialty section just for the Rahway students, because I had a program this past year for the 6th graders, and we're going to give them a little special section just for them so that they can mix and mingle with the new 7th graders. And then we have special breakout rooms for these students. There's going to be 5 separate breakout rooms. Example, one of them is going to be yoga poses and breath work, because this can teach children how to express themselves, how to calm themselves down when they get mad. We have another person doing karate. And the purpose of this event, as I mentioned, is to teach children that when you get mad, angry, upset, that you don't have to just keep all those feelings in or express them by yelling and screaming and fighting, but by helpful ways. Now, the cool part about this event that makes it great for everyone is there's going to be activities outside and inside. There's going to be a gaming truck. If you're a kid and you love to play video games, this is for you. If you're an adult and like to play video games. So there's going to be a gaming truck outside. And again, the purpose to teach a child what you can do when you're feeling angry. We have some great jump ropers coming through to teach you how to double dutch, all this sort of stuff. We're going to have some local businesses in the area as well doing yoga. Now, we talked about the activities outside, our gaming truck. I almost forgot. We have DJ Drewski coming through on the 1s and 2s. Okay, I know that's not cool, but you know what I mean. We have DJ Drewski coming through. We also have a 360 camera, so you can take pictures while you're there. And we definitely want to give a great big shout out to the Rahway Rec Center. Also, the town of Rahway, the mayor and his staff, they're working with us to make all of this happen. I'm so excited. The best thing that I want to share, we have a special song by Tony with the Keys, who created a song for us, and we're doing a music video this day. All of this is inspired by my sonny boy, we love you, Molly Molly, to change the world. So if you want to have some fun with your family and not even have to worry about anything, it's free. Did I repeat? Free. You can't pay any more for that, right? So September 22nd, whether it rains, whether it shines, it is going down. I cannot wait. Rahway, New Jersey, if you're in Maryland, if you're in Delaware, if you're in New York, sign up. I'm going to put the link right here because it's limited space for some of the activities. Think of it like a carnival. You know when you go to a carnival and you go by and you have that activity and you have that activity, and we're going to have a cool contest at the end. We're going to break people up into 2 groups. Adults and kids, because we're going to need some adults for this. And it's going to be sort of like a scavenger hunt race thing. So for example, you'll have one game and then you have like a pie eating contest and then a tug of war just to see which team wins. Super cool, right? And to end this off beautifully, we're going to be in the gym. We're going to have a panel discussion with some of the students. We're going to have different little, not activities, little shows. So for example, the dance studio, the karate studio, the steppers, they're going to have 3 to 5 minutes to show us what they have. So if you want to come through, if you want to have some fun, again, sign up here. I am Stars Tina. I'm so grateful to be bringing this event to you. I'm so grateful and thankful for everyone that's supporting me on this. And I'll see you then. Peace and a bottle of hair grease. Bye. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I am Stars Tina. This is the 7 p.m. Cup of Motivation. These are special editions because I'm normally here Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. But as you know, our big, huge event is going down this Sunday. Now, I want to give you a couple updates, okay? Because that video was made probably 6 weeks ago, I'm not sure. And we actually started planning this in May. Can you believe that? The time has gone so fast. It seems like I was just in Rahway talking to the school, getting inspired, right? And I'm going to share this with you. My hugest inspiration for this event, my hugest inspiration for this book is because one little girl said something. I showed pictures of emojis because my thing is for children to tap into their feelings, right? And I said, what happens when we don't tap into our feelings? And she raised her hand and she said, when we don't tap into our feelings, we can commit suicide and die. I know, super deep, right? With 75 kids in the room, I looked around, and this is in the first 5 minutes that I was there. The principal was in the back, another teacher, and I had to make it light, right? And I was like, really, girl, that's where we're starting this early? And I kept it light, but it sunk deep in my heart. And I said, Tina, you're not doing enough. Yes, I'm writing the book. Yes, I'm doing speeches. Yes, I'm going to the schools. Yes, I'm talking to the students, coming up with all these events, but there's more, right? In life, you have to dream big. I always say you got to think big times 10, and your goals have to be so big. I just made a post on my Instagram, Lisa Nichols, talking about dreams. Right? Don't be afraid to dream, and don't leave your dreams at home. But your dreams, your goals have to be so freaking big. You can't do them alone. And I can't do them alone. They should also be so big, they scare you. And this goal I have scares me, and it's to change the world for children. So when this little girl said this, I was like, well, all these things, we can turn into a book. And then from the book, I was like, why not a back to school event? And then it turned health and wellness, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm not going to talk too much today because I am so excited about today's guest. Not only is it vendor, and by the way, make sure you stay at the end after the interview because I have some other questions for you. About our book, because like I said, it's just changing the world. So she's actually pull her through, Renee. Pull her through. I'm so excited. Hey girl, hey, how you doing? Hello. How you feeling? I love the smile, Allison.
I love to talk about wellness. I love to talk about mental health. As you're talking, I'm like, yep, this is my thing. Let's go.
I love it. So I'm curious because, you ever hear the saying, you can't see the picture if you're in it? Have you ever heard that saying before? Yeah. So I love, I don't say constructional criticism anymore, but growth changing advice. So from what you've seen over the past few months, I just want you to tell the peeps how you feel. How did you find out about it? It's that whole thing. I'm just curious. I want to be like that outside fly. Talk to me.
So I was actually at a health and wellness event in Rahway at the beginning of September, maybe like the end of August. And I had met with someone who was like, oh, I'm on the board in Rahway and they're doing this health and wellness event for kids, like a back to school event. It's like the Mally Gaines Foundation. And you need to reach out to her and get a table. You need to connect with her. So I was like, all right. Got it. I wrote it down. I went home. I started to do my research. I had first watched like the video of your son and I was like, oh my God, this foundation is incredible. I was like, I need information. I need to know more. I want to be a part of this. I was like reading about the event and I was like, yep. It's like, I need more info. Let's go.
All right. Next question. Tell me what made you say yes. Because this is my first time doing this type of event. I've done various events, but this one is close to my heart. What made you say, I need to be a part of that? Go for it.
I love kids. And I think that a lot of times parents and adults don't always know that kids can do therapy and that therapy and wellness and things like that can be so beneficial for kids, that I am such a voice for it, that I'm like, kids are important too. Kids' mental wellness is just as important as adults. And I love to advocate for that kids can do therapy, and that therapy for kids, when it's done in the way that they need in the form of play therapy, is so beneficial, and not enough people know about it. And that's why I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's start the conversation.
I love it. So many things I want to ask you. So before we jump into it, how can people get in touch with you? If you're just watching, tell them what you do, where you are, how they can contact you. And Renee, if you can put it across the top there as well, that'll be great.
So I am a licensed clinical social worker, which is basically my mental health background. I also got a certificate in grad school for promoting child and adolescent well-being. So I've learned all about kids and teens and their development. And then I started to research, and there is a certification called a registered play therapist. And essentially what that means is you do a whole bunch of training You do, supervision for 35 hours. You do 350 clinical hours of work with kids, and you do 150 hours of trainings learning more about how to work with kids. And I was like, sign me up. Let's do it. I want to be that. And I did. I put in the work to do that. And so I am a registered play therapist and a licensed clinical social worker in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I'm a part of Cultivate Therapy. Like I said, primarily see kids and teens, and that's what I do. I also
Okay.
virtual across the state of New Jersey.
That was going to be another question if it's virtual, because I do a lot of virtual stuff. So the one thing that stood out for me when I was reading your information is you were talking about yourself when you were a child, because I always say, what would you tell your younger self? Can you share with us what you went through as a child, and if you would have known what you know now back then, how it would have helped you?
I love this. So I was diagnosed with anxiety in first grade.
Okay,
And
stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. So I did some stats the other day, and it was scary for me. Like the statistics on children that are diagnosed with anxiety, stress, depression. It stated that suicide was the second lead of cause of children, right? What the heck? Before you go, just tell me what anxiety is, because I don't get it, right? I'm just like, what are you talking about? People say, like, can we just start there? What is anxiety?
Yes. So I actually am such a big supporter of Inside Out, the like Pixar movie. And when they made Inside Out 2 with anxiety, I was like, yes, because she is like the perfect embodiment.
Halloween. That's what we got to do, Renee. Everyone, let's pick a character. I want to be the red one. Whatever. What's the red one? Is the red one anger? Oh Lord! Of course, I would want the anger one.
The little one is anger. The orange one, she's anxiety, and I'm like, her and I were vibing. Because the way I like to explain it to like kids and even adults is like, anxiety, she's just trying to help you. Like she's trying to protect you and take care of you. And sometimes we're like, anxiety, girl, you gotta like, I don't need you right now. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna be okay. And I think that with kids, it's so scary because they don't even know what their feelings are. Like, they're not even like, oh, this is anger, this is happy, this is sad. That they're like, oh my God, I feel this feeling, like my heart is beating fast. Maybe I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Maybe my stomach is upset. Maybe like I feel like I can't breathe. And it's just so scary for a kid, even for adults that are figuring out that they have anxiety. It's so scary that I am like, yes, I think that kids need to know and kids need to be able to talk about it, because as a 6-year-old being diagnosed with anxiety and being like, I have this big feeling that's bigger than me. I'm like this big and this feeling is like this. And I'm like, someone help, somebody make it make sense. And why I love working with kids is because I tell parents all the time, I could teach an adult, when you're feeling anxious, let's take some deep breaths. When you teach a kid that, they don't have the brain capacity to connect it. So
Exactly. I've seen plenty of videos. You might have seen it on Instagram where it's a little girl and she's there and it's like she can't express herself. She's like crying and it's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's just crying and crying and crying. Is that anxiety?
It can be. And I think like with kids, you need to be with them in the moment and they co-regulate. So like I'll tell parents, I won't necessarily tell your kid, hey, when you're anxious, do this and that, because the kid will be like, okay, when I'm anxious, I take deep breaths. And there's about like maybe a 75% chance that your kid goes home and they feel anxious, and that breathing that we did on Saturday or on Friday is out the window. They're like, I can't breathe, I'm freaking out, I don't know what's going on. That I tell parents, when they're anxious with me or they're feeling a big emotion with me, I say, okay, I'm gonna take some big deep breaths here. You don't have to take them, but I am. And these kids are learning. I am co-regulating with them in that moment. So I'm taking their anxiety, I'm taking their anger, I'm taking their sadness, I'm taking whatever it is they got going on, and I'm giving them my calm. And I notice with kids, the more that I do that, even if I'm not telling them to do it with me, they do. Over time, I'll see kids, we're breathing together. And I'm like, and that's where it happens. That's where the magic happens. That's where they're figuring out, when I'm anxious, I breathe. When they're in the moment, you do it with them and they figure it out and they got it and it clicks and they go. And that's why I'm like, this is what kids need. Because I think a lot of times adults are like, just take deep breaths when you're anxious. And the kid will be like, yeah, okay, woohoo, take deep breaths. And then they're anxious and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like, you got to breathe with them. You got to help them. You got to be there with them.
Exactly, exactly. So I like that. I want to say, hey there, Ash. Hey girl, hey, I saw you on there. Now, play therapy. That sounds cool. Do you do group therapies? Does that work for kids? Talk to me about that.
I am not the biggest fan of group therapy. I think it can work, but I prefer the one-on-one care. And so I only do individual work. I don't do group therapy. Maybe it could be a thing in the future, but as of right now, I like the one-on-one care. I like the personalized care, and I find that giving that child that 53 minutes with me, 55, however long, really just helps them.
And here's another one. How do you know if your kid needs therapy? Because I know I actually said this to my sister, and I'm like, because for me, I'm thinking COVID had to be traumatic for some children. Divorce, seeing that with their parents, maybe arguing in the house. As a parent, how do you know if your child needs therapy? Because it's like I don't know. For me, I would think there's something wrong with me as a mom. Like, why does my kid need therapy? What am I doing wrong? I'm not putting my kid in
Yeah.
therapy. What do you have to say about that?
I think that sometimes that's what stops kids from getting the help is parents beat themselves up. But like the reality is if you're moving to a new town, even if you're moving to a new school, if after COVID, like because kids are going from a virtual world to a real world, like even in that flip, like anytime that you feel like your child is going through a change, it's okay to get them in therapy. If you're feeling like they're struggling to understand their emotions, it's okay to get them in therapy. Something big and scary happens, it's okay to get them into therapy. I think that sometimes people feel like there has to be a reason, and there doesn't always have to be. It could be I want my kid in therapy because anxiety runs in my family and I want to make sure if my kid has anxiety, they're good. It could be my kid's been being bullied. Get you in, let's go. Come on, come hang out. My partner and I are getting a divorce, you know. COVID was really hard on my kid and I want to make sure they're okay. I think it's always okay for kids to have that outlet because it can't emotional learning can't hurt.
Yes, social emotional learning. So I've kind of put him in this level. Give me your thoughts. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm just Starcina. God is just pouring all this into me, right? So my goal was to categorize them from lowest to highest, and I pretty much said anxiety, stress, depression. Thinking anxiety is when it's like, oh, I can't get my locker, my hair's messed up, first day of school, and then stress, and then depression. And understanding those three emotions. I don't know if you've ever heard my term traumedy is a word that I trademark, and traumedy is when the energies of a trauma and a tragedy collide.
Yeah.
They come together. Everyone goes through these things. I had an adult say she remembers a traumedy when she was 5 years old and couldn't find her parents in the supermarket, right? These things stay in the body. We always say the body holds the score. Give me your comments, thoughts on what I just said. Agree, disagree?
No, I think the body does keep the score, and I do work with adults as well. And I do a lot of inner child work with those adults. And I think that that's where I started to really open the door to be like, I want to work with kids because with adults, right, I can do this inner child work and help them heal from things in their childhood. And I think with that too, that I talk a lot with adults about like, I don't care if you think it was a trauma or not. I don't care if you think it was a big deal or not. That because I think that there are people that'll be like, well, you know, this happened when I was 5 and it's really not a big deal. But if you remember it when you were 5, that sounds like it was a pretty big deal to me. And I think that it's so important to continue to advocate. And that's why I do to be like, kids can heal from their childhood while they're children. Kids can heal as they
Oh, pause. That was a good one. That was a good one. Say it
because
again,
there's
mama.
so many adults that I feel like need to heal that inner child. And there's so much work that can be done. We can help our children before they are adults. We can help them not need to heal their inner child. We can help heal the child that's right in front of us right now in 2024. And it is so important.
Wow, that was a good one. That deserves like a ding 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 ding. Love that right there. So my next thing that I want to ask you is when it comes to, so I know psychiatrists,
Mhm.
sorry, therapists and psychiatrists give medication. But before we get to the medication part, how do you know when it's enough? Like, okay, because my daughter's like, you have to finish the treatment. We were talking about therapy the other day. Do you have a formula like, okay, this kid is pretty good. They don't have to see me anymore. Is it like a 3 month, a 6 month? How do you know as a parent, like how long do you keep your kid going?
It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think I tell parents all the time, my goal is to release you. My goal is to let you be free. I don't want to hold your hand for the rest of your life forever. I want to help you hold your hand in this little part that we're on. It's like learning to ride like a two-wheeler, right? Like the like big kid bike, right? I'm gonna hold you till you're comfortable, and then I'm gonna push you and I'm gonna let you go, and you're gonna go. And now you're gonna ride a bike and you're not gonna need me. And I think it varies, that there's no timeline that can be put on it. I wait until I feel like, right, this child and this family has all the tools and all the, I'm like Mary Poppins, right? I give you all the tools and all the things that you need, right? I
I
give
love
it to
it.
you, I help you out, and then once we're ready, I'm like, you got it, you have all the tools, let me see you fly, you could do it.
I love it. Can you give us an example of someone that you worked with? Because I don't know about anyone else. When it comes to like testimonials or story, it helps for me to visualize things and see things. Where it was like this kid was having temper tantrums all the time. This kid wasn't sleeping in their bed. This kid wasn't going to school. Like something that was not going good in the child's life.
Yeah.
They worked with you, and now they're better. Can you share a story with us on how therapy
Yeah.
helps?
Yeah, so I've seen kids go from, so we have in a play therapy room, I have like what's called aggressive toys. So I used to have
Aggressive toys.
aggressive toys. So like a bop bag, it's like a little like punching bag for kids. Yes. And
I
there
told
was
you
one
I'm that
child,
anger. I'm that red person. I'm
it
that.
is, and I love it. And I had this one child that would come in and every time for like at least the first month would beat the heck out of this punching bag for the entirety of the session. And I'd be like, you do what you
Wow.
need to do. I'd be like, go ahead. And slowly and slowly and slowly, this child would be like, okay, well, now I want to play with this toy. And we slowly moved away from it, almost to the point where this child didn't even need it anymore, like didn't want to hit it. And I was like, whew, see, like just through play, this kid got all their anger out, went from like being so angry to now being able to be like, now I can do other things. Now I'm communicating in other ways and doing other things. And the anger started to decrease at home. It started to decrease at school. And it's just, I think that it's so powerful, the things that kids say without actually saying them through their play, that's why I do what I do, because I love it, because these kids could say no words to me, could draw a picture, could um set up something with a toy, could tell a story with their toys that just says so much without them saying really anything. And I'm like, yep, this is why I love it. This is why I do what I do.
I love that. That is deep. So that's one thing I see. Another parent was saying something like she told her child something with a rubber band. I don't
Mhm.
remember why she said to do it. What is that one when you pull the rubber band on your arm?
It can be to I don't usually like to recommend that. Sometimes it could get a little, you could like beat your wrist up pretty good. I don't know. But
I told you I'm that anger pain girl. I'm
but
like,
it can be, if we do like sometimes in like harm reduction too, with people that have a history of self-harming, that I've mentioned, like, okay, instead of harming, how about we harm reduction, flick yourself with a rubber band so you're not doing anything worse to yourself. But things like that can be ways of coping. And I think I work with kids and not of like, how can we find things that you like to do? How can we find things that are helpful for you? So I'll teach kids like bunny breaths, dragon breaths, rainbow breaths. What
what
else?
is a bunny breath? That is so cute.
Breathe like a bunny, like and it's silly, but it helps kids because
Okay, okay. I got to
will
put you on
do
the
it.
point because I'm into the breath work. Show me a bunch of your animal breath. This is going to be fun. Go. Bunny
All right,
breath.
so the dragon breath. Ready? We're gonna pretend like we are so angry. And dragons, they breathe fire, but they gotta get some good air in there, right? Before they make the fire. So we're gonna take a big deep breath in, and then we're gonna blow it out as hard as we can, like we're trying to set everything on fire, and we're just gonna and those angry kids, they love it. Kids that are struggling with anger, they love it. I'm like, let's do it. Pretend like we're gonna set everything on fire. And they get into it. And I'm like, there you go.
I love it. Oh my God. This is a very important question I have. So, do you talk to the parents at all?
Yes.
Like they come in the beginning, they tell you how often and how does that work?
So I meet with parents either every 4 to 6 weeks, just the parents, or I also do family sessions every like 4 to 6 about that. And I think that that's really important too, because, well, one, I don't tell parents in parent session what goes on, but it allows me a way to almost like, I don't know, I can't think of a metaphor to explain it, but like work both ends, right? Like I'm working with your child, but I'm also working with parents and teaching them like this is what you can do. So like I'll tell parents, if your child is anxious, I literally want you to sit in the space with them and take big, huge, deep breaths, like really dramatic, big, deep breaths, and it's going to help co-regulate your kid. Or if it's kids that are testing the limits, then I'm teaching parents limit setting. I'm teaching them this is how you set limits. This is how you help your child understand, one, that they have responsibility for things that they say and do, and they're taking responsibility, and those consequences of their actions, they're choosing them. So instead of, as a parent, being like, okay, you didn't do your homework and you failed your math test, no iPad for the weekend. That's an adult putting a consequence on you. If I'm like, okay, you chose to fight with your sister all day, so now you're choosing not to play with your iPad tonight. Tomorrow you can try again, but today you chose no iPad. It's helping kids to learn you have responsibility for your actions. The things that you say and the things that you do impact what happens from there, instead of a parent being the bad guy. I mean, I guess the parent is still the bad guy, but they're letting you know, like, I get it, you're angry, but today you chose to fight with your sister, so you chose no iPad. You
Wow.
can choose to try again tomorrow. So things like that are what I like to do with parents. And then sometimes I like to see the family unit, so I can see, right, like what's going on. So if there's other siblings, I get a picture of what does this family look like? How do you respond to your child when your child is anxious, when they're overwhelmed, when they're stressed, when they're frustrated, when they're angry, when they're sad? In a therapeutic setting, like, show me what's going on so I can help you.
Girl, I'm here listening to you, and I turned my head and I was shaking my head because I can't believe my children turned out as great as they were. Because I'm thinking of some of the things I said, some of the things I did, and I was a horrible. Like when I would wake them up in the morning, I legit would say, "Wake up!" And if they didn't wake up, I'd throw water on them. I'd push them. If they didn't do what I said, I'm gonna put your head in the toilet. Let's go. I'm gonna throw you in the dumpster. Like I literally threatened them. I did. You asked my daughter. She was like, when she didn't write, like something she said, like I traumatized her with homework because I was a single mom, and I'd come home late from work, and I get home like probably 8, 9 o'clock, and she said, I would force her to get up to do her homework at 9 o'clock at night, because that's when I got home, and it's just like not a cool thing, and she's still like a little traumatized from that. What can you tell a single mom who might be watching this, or who has, like, how do they do it? Any tips?
I think that everyone's doing the best that they can. And I think that there are so many different ways to parent that sometimes it's okay to need a little help, and it's okay to need a little support. And we're all just doing the best that we can. Sometimes because I think even in that, our childhood impacts how we parent too. And that's so true. If you were traumatized as a kid, you're either going to continue it, or you're going to be like, I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to let that happen to my kids. And it's
I'm sorry. You know why I'm laughing, girl? Because my daughter is such the no mio Rico. She does the sound baths, the yoga, she does all that stuff, and I guess it was from her traumatizing childhood. Oh my God.
we just
Lord
and
help me.
I think that that's why I love working with kids and stuff. And like, I'll teach parents sometimes when I work with parents in like the parent sessions, I'll teach them that, listen, I'm going to be real with you. We got a shark song. Okay. When you feel some big emotions, your shark song is playing, like Jaws, when Jaws is coming, and it's like, da da, da da, da da, da da. And you're like, oh my God, run away. And I'm like, we get like that sometimes with our kids.
It's not the baby shark. Baby shark. Do do do
No,
do do.
it's the
I
big
love
scary
that
shark.
song. Oh my goodness, this is such good stuff. So I'm going to change your position at the event. I'm telling you now, we're going to talk afterwards. So when this ends, don't get off the line. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the event that's happening this Sunday. It's going to be a little bit of virtual. It will be in person. It's in Rahway, New Jersey, starting at 11:30. It's all for the kids. Adults, you need to come too, so you can learn, so you can get all these tips and advice and all this gushy, great stuff. Talk to us. I know you said you do virtual, which is great. So if you're in California, if you're in New York, doesn't matter. She's in New Jersey. It's great for the one-on-one. But I've learned, because I'm that virtual person, you can still get results by doing virtual work. Do you take insurance, and how does that work?
So first, unfortunately, with the laws that be, telehealth, I can only see people in the state of New Jersey as of right now, telehealth wise. I am working to be licensed in the state of New York, and they are slowly kind of coming up with, it's called like it's like a compact program for therapists that states that sign on to it. You can see clients in those states, but as of right now, it's only New Jersey. But we are a savvy out-of-network practice, and essentially what that means is we check your benefits, and if you have out-of-network benefits, we submit those claims to your insurance for you. And the reason why this is that out-of-network is usually for more specialized providers. Because of the qualifications that I have, I'm able to say, hey, I know what I'm doing. I love kids. I got it. We work with you. We check your benefits before we sign you up for anything. And then we talk to you about what does that look like. So if you have out-of-network benefits, we submit the claims for you, because I know some out-of-network providers are like, no, you have to submit them yourself and get reimbursed.
Gotcha.
We submit it for you and you get the reimbursement. And I am happy to talk. That's why we do on our website, if you sign up or book a free consultation with me, before that call, I get your insurance information from you. Our billing team will find out your benefits and we'll let you know. And if out-of-network is not something feasible for you, I have a nice list of recommendations of in-network providers to help families with, because I know sometimes insurance is rough.
But I want to talk about even if you don't have insurance, because I know for myself, I've been taking therapy for years. And before we get to our close, we're going to do it. Renee, get ready for our why video right now. Why I'm actually doing this event. It's for my sonny boy, but I want to talk about paying for what you need and want in life. Right? You cannot put a price tag on freedom. You cannot put a price tag on love. And I remember I was like, I have to pay for my therapy every month. And I was just like, well, I could not do it. And then it's just like, okay, it's so important. Sacrifice. If you don't have to get your nails done. You don't have to get your hair done, but you have to get your therapy. But anyway, Renee, I want you to throw the why video up here, because my son accomplished some amazing things by the age of 21. And I guess it was all of the, myself being a go-getter, being a supporter, my mom doing an amazing job. Imagine, Alison, if I knew all the stuff you just said, how great my kids would be.
Listen, your son seemed like he was a go-getter already.
Yes. This is the site right here. We're currently collecting donations. This is in the Give Butter account. This is our nonprofit. I've had this nonprofit for about 8 years. If you did not know, my son, Jamal Molly Gaines, was tragically murdered in his sneaker boutique store in Rahway, New Jersey. He actually started when he was 18. He always had a love of sneakers, right? We don't know who actually murdered him, but we have 3 major events that we do a year. We're doing this event right here. We've done whitewater rafting camping trips, and we're doing that next year. And then we want to do a banquet, an awards banquet. So that's where your funds will be going through. Renee, click the video so we can share why we're doing this.
The young entrepreneur was killed at a business he owned downtown.
Puddled his own blood at that point. Literally holding him and screaming his name as he's taking his last breath.
Gaines was 21 years old when he was murdered.
And the Emmy goes to The Tape Room, Jamal Molly Gaines.
What's going on with my son? Like, I'm sorry, your son's dead. And the last time I saw my brother was in the hallway where he died. And I told him, you need to get a gun. You need to have more protection.
Somebody knows something. Somebody out there has some answers about what has happened.
This is ridiculous. Okay, it should not happen. This needs to stop. Young black man with a business. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They were coming after the story when they shot him. He was still just fighting as he was going down. He went out there charging like a lion, and that's what we named this foundation after, Lion-Hearted Legend, because he had so much freaking heart.
Greatness attracts hate and jealousy and envy and greed.
Yes.
When what it should attract is motivation. Because that's what Molly did for me. He motivated me.
Hey, thank you so much for that, Renee. So let me tell you, Alison, Renee, knock that out of there. I want to see her face big. When I played that, I guess last week, I started playing it every time we did this. You can just exit out the top, Renee. Just exit out the whole thing. When I first played it, I was like getting super emotional. And it's like a wound, right? A scar.
Yeah.
The more you see it, the more you do it, it gets stronger and stronger. And watching it today, I'm like smiling because it feels like he's standing right next to me, right? And that is my why I'm doing this. And, you know, I want you to just leave us with your mountaintop moment, why you do what you do, how you can change the world, because I believe it's a ripple effect, right? I'm so excited to have you on board. Like, there's so, I don't know if you know, Alison, I've got this program and I have it in schools. This current year I did it, and it's a 4-part series. One school wants us there once a week, right? So teaching children how to play therapy, how to tap into their feelings, how to overcome these feelings and emotions. And I'm so grateful that Naja, that's who actually probably, you know, told you about the event. Naja is amazing. She's on the school board of Rawway. And as I'm standing out here, I don't know where the sun is. I'm in Tampa. So
I think it looks like it might be behind you, maybe.
I don't know, but it's beautiful, right? It's so beautiful here. Share with us your mountain. Next thing you know, it'll be dark out here. At least it's not raining. It always rains here. But I want you to share with us your mountaintop moment. What are we talking about if you're just zooming in? Traumedy No More for Kids. It is a movement. All right. I need your support. We all need your support so we can do that ripple effect, throw that rock and ripples in the ocean. Give us 1 minute, Alison. Say to uplift, motivate, change, shift the world. Go.
I think that we can always grow. And I think that I do what I do because I love kids. And I think that kids really can be so invested in. And the more that we help them now, the less likely we are to have generations of kids that need to heal from their childhood. And I think that that is so important because I was telling Renee before, I think in the therapy world, there are therapists that love kids and there are therapists that are like, kids, run away. And then like in our practice at the Flip, we have therapists that love working with couples and love working with like the relationships and helping them build those connections. And then you have therapists like me that are like, couples, run away, give me the kids. But I do what I do because I am so convinced that there will be a day that children no longer have to heal from their childhoods. And I don't even mean that parents or anyone is doing anything wrong, but kids that will just have all of these tools by the ages of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that they will just be able to grow and thrive in a way that is so incredible that like, I don't even think the world is ready for it, but I know that it can happen. And I am so like, I'm here, I'm going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to work together because that's where it happens. Is I think that I see adults that we're healing their inner child. And I'm always like, imagine what could have been so different if those people had someone at 5, at 6, at 7, at that age when all these things were happening to them, how much they could do. And I'm a proponent to be like, let's help you so you don't have to heal from your childhood. Let's help you so you're getting what you need and you can grow and be the next president, be the next Simone Biles, whatever it is.
I love
be
it.
the next Kamala Harris. I don't know, anything you want to be, like, let's get you there.
I love it. Can you imagine a 5-year-old saying, I'm feeling very anxious. I'm almost stressed. I think I'm going to do that dragon breath now. Okay, let me do that. Okay, I'm good.
When they do, I'm like, yes. I'm like, I love it. Like, I've had parents be like, oh yeah, so my like 7-year-old told me today, Mom, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I'm going to need a 5-minute break. And I'm like, yes, I love it. Yes.
I love it. Parents, hope you can't hear in the background. Parents, find a therapist. Hit up my girl here. If you can't work with her, work with someone. This is what I wanted to ask you before you went. I've heard, we know the body holds a score, but they said we have the feelings and the emotions. One person told me 7 generations. And then another person said, like, who we are in regard to ourselves is 12 generations. Talk to us briefly about that, where it's not just us, the anger or stress or anxiety we're feeling, but it's our ancestors. Talk to me about that. Is that true?
I think it is. I think that and I believe this to be true with kids too, we learn from our parents and we learn from the adults around us how to exist. I say all the time, if you ever met my father, Lord help him, I am him with hair. But I open my mouth and I am my mother's daughter. I am her. we learn as children how to be through our parents. So if our parents are dysregulating emotions, like I see a lot with young boys, they don't know how to feel sad. They don't, because for so long, men were told you can't be sad. And I see it. And I think that we need to help adults now show your kids your emotions, tell your kids what you're feeling. And if you're feeling like you're not working through your emotions in the way that you want to either, it's okay to get therapy and it's okay to get help, because your kids, I know people say it all the time, kids are sponges, and they're looking to us, they're looking to the adults to be like, how do I feel happy? How do I feel sad? How do I feel mad? How do I feel scared? What do I do with all these feelings that I have? And we do pass it down because, right? Like, look at that. Just as simple as so many men have been told men don't cry. And it's been passed down for so long that it's so hard to break that with young boys, to be like, it's okay to cry. Please cry. Feel that emotion and cry, because if you don't, it's going to come out in a way you don't want them to. I tell people all the time, your emotions are like when you're driving your car and you're like, oh, I got like 15 miles to the gallon and I'm really trying to get to the place I got to go to. Stop for gas. Feel that emotion, because if you don't, that emotion is going to come up. And sometimes we don't know it until my father passed away earlier this year. And when I tell you, if you don't feel grief is like, girl, you're going to feel me. Watch this. Here we go. Feel your emotions, because if you don't, they don't just go away. They're going to build up. And then one day, just like if I don't stop for gas when I got 15 miles to the gallon, my car is going to break down and it is inconvenient. But if I stop for gas, I fill up my tank and I'm good to go. If we don't feel our emotions, they're going to come out and it's not going to be convenient. It's not going to be when we want them.
Listen, I may have to kidnap you once or twice a month to just come through here and like do something, because this is you're changing the world right now, right? Someone is watching this and they're like, okay, all right, already, go get a therapist, go see a therapist, go see a therapist, go see a freaking therapist now. Go see a therapist. I want therapy to be so cool. It's like, you don't go to therapy? Ew, what's wrong with you?
Therapy is so cool.
It's cool. It's like the in thing. Like, what? Like, it's like you don't go to therapy? What's all right, let's get out of here. Family and friends, I'll be up tomorrow, 7 a.m. Cup of motivation. This is the PM. Click the link at the bottom. Text the word love to 732. I don't have my glasses on. I don't really know what it says. It looks like a bunch of dots on there. 6568973, maybe. I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you for rolling through. Bye. Thank you. Peace.